Here we also have the secret to what the RA material calls the harvest. At the end of each cycle, a certain amount of people have woken up to the fact that they are trapped and decide to do something about it. These are the ones who move on to higher dimensions, or densities, as it's often called in metaphysics. Those who are still asleep will continue living the time loop until it's their turn to wake up. However, and this is important, I strongly suggest you don't let any outside star race come and beam you up or help relocating you with spaceships or otherwise. This process of waking up is on your own merit, and you can do it all by yourself, and you're meant to. There are star beings who, by channeling their information, are telling you the truth about the harvest, but add the following little, insignificant thing, as a twist to it. They say that they are the ones who will help out in the process and guide the enlightened ones so they end up in the right place. Chosen people teleported up in spaceships. I would suggest these channeled entities are no one else than the Sirian Alliance in disguise. The RA Collective even blamed the Orions for being the only ETs of negative density able to occasionally find a hole in the Earth grid, the quarantine, and manage to land here on Earth and create havoc, or like in the case of the RA material, a fifth density negative Orion being was the one who eventually had Don Elkins, the brilliant questioner in the RA material, commit suicide. He took on the entity that had possessed Carla Ruckert, the woman who channeled RA, and committed suicide to mislead the Orion entity away from Carla and save her from her possession. He succeeded. This RA collective claimed to have nothing to do with Marduk RA, but all the evidence point in the direction that they are Sirians. These entities have a strong Sirian imprint. The truth of the matter is that what these beings will do is to take those who are evolved, ready, and willing, transfer them, sometimes with spaceships, and sometimes in the ether, and they are, according to my research, most probably going to be placed in enhanced fourth or fifth dimensional bodies, or so they say, in order to be able to incarnate on Earth again as a more evolved being. In reality they will be put in hybrid bodies that are going to work as the beginning of a new bloodline of cyborgs that are going to assist the Sirians as Supersoldier officers in the future. So I strongly advise you, who are excited about these channeled entities who say they are going to help you ascend. Don't believe them, or all your efforts to evolve yourself have most probably been in vain. Much more about this in Level 3. Then, what will happen now with all the rest of us when this cycle is finished, supposedly sometime around 2012 to 2013? Will we all be swept back in time and start all over on a 26,000 years cycle with full amnesia, something which has possibly happened before? I would say it depends entirely on us. How many of us will wake up? How many will raise their frequencies? How much will the mass consciousness be affected by all the positive changes? This is the reason why I write all these endless amount of papers, to tackle our situations from different angles and wake up as many as I can. I don't believe in the 3% rule myself anymore, see later section of this paper. But I think enough people have to wake up in order to create what's needed to skip over the scratch in the broken DVD to move on to the next section of the grid, which I believe is the last one. If we don't make it, there is a big chance we will relive the last great year. The Pleiadians even tell us that if we don't make it, we will not get another chance in another million years, albeit, I am not sure if they mean this literally or figuratively. From what I have learned, the difference between previous cycles is that this time we have a tremendous amount of help. Many star races think it's crucial that we make it this time. Not only for our own sake, but for theirs, and for the sake of our planet. We are polluting the living library to the maximum and are misusing energy to an extent that it affects large sections of the universe. This is the reason why I think that with everything adding up, we have a chance to make it this time. But regardless, we need to continue spreading our energies and do our best to keep our high frequencies stable. My point is, don't be deceived now at the end of the nanosecond, when you've made it this far. I am sure all readers of this material are very eager to move on to the next energy grid instead of under amnesia relive yet another cycle of perhaps 26,000 years. I'll tell you, I am done myself, no more recycling for me, thank you. And here is the good news. There is an escape and it's fairly simple. Some say that the time loop we're in is actually the second last of the energy grids, but we keep it in existence with our own mass consciousness. Because when we agree to living in the Sirian system and are obeying their twisted laws that do nothing but enhance the power of the rich to the expense of the masses, we also agree to being implanted with amnesia and recycled, and thus we keep the whole time loop alive and well. If we break this curse, the next cycle will take us to the stars. I think that's inevitable. Look at us, we are so close. We already know the theory behind how to do it. Set our energy free and start using our fire and you will see what we are able to do. If we wanted to, we could blow the Sirians away 1,000,000 light years. That's how powerful we are when we're unleashed. They know this. They are very afraid of us humans. Not only have they locked us into this single energy grid, they have also set the frequency to be slightly off, which means we are extremely hard to find for aliens outside our planet who don't know in what frequency band to look. We are invisible to the outside universe. And the Sirians have decided to keep us separated in this loop until they know what to do with us. They have frenetically tried to steal our divine fire, but haven't really succeeded, albeit it seems like they believe they now have almost gained enough power to dare confronting the divine feminine in the 96% realm. But not without using us as foot soldiers and shields. If there are casualties, and there will be, believe me, it will be us and not them on the most part. At least that's the plan. See, they will do everything they can to convince us that we need to fight this future galactic war for them, and once we agree to do that, we will be the ones who get killed. All they need to say is, wait a minute. We are not supposed to fight, the humans are. They have told us they want to do that for us. It's their fault, not ours that your civilians die. In other words, they will be able to twist it, although in a much more sophisticated way than I just described. They already do that, and the Vietnam War is a great example. American soldiers were ordered to rape and murder women and children, and when it was exposed to the American public, the military said they never gave such orders. It was done totally on the initiative of the soldiers themselves. I want to wait until a later paper to suggest how we shall repair the broken DVD, and move on as individuals, groups, and hopefully as a species, but I highly doubt everybody will make it, unfortunately. Some say, like James the Wingmakers, that we should all wait with ascending until all humanity is ready, which will be sometime around 2065 to 80, where have we heard that time frame before? Yes, the alleged return of Nibiru, although that time frame has now been changed. He says we need to move on as a whole mass consciousness and that there is no such thing as personal ascension. And he adds that even if there was, why would we want to leave our fellow man in this mess and just think about ourselves? I used to fall for that argument myself and started to get a bad conscience for wanting to move on without all the rest of humanity, something that of course held me back in my own evolvement, as guilt always does. Now I understand that this is just another trap to keep those who are ready still trapped, so we can't escape. Yes, it's very sad if all humanity can't make it, but we are individuals, and as such on our own paths. If some people need more time to realize what they sit in, that's how it needs to be. There is no reason why a person who has worked extremely hard, probably over many lifetimes to come this far, must sit and wait for those who preferred to watch football games on TV, drink beer, and vote for Bush or Obama. It goes against common sense. I am not a martyr and I don't support martyrs either, because they waste their own life and are remembered as heroes and idols, which is just another kind of worship. Each being is important in themselves, and what you do to evolve and enlighten yourself is more beneficial for the rest of this soul group and the universe in general than all the help you can give others in form of money and persistence, which will deplete your own energy. I am not saying we shouldn't help others when they ask for it, but I am saying that it has to be done in a manner so that it doesn't inflict on your own progress. This is very important.